Hey all, this is Sean from the Pompey Games Room. Just want to thank you for checking out my latest video here. When I first thought about starting up a YouTube channel for retro and classic games, this was one of the games that sprung to mind as something to look forward to for myself. Mainly because this game is by far my favourite of the early FIFA games released for the 16-bit era. It was released on the 1st of July 1995 for the Sega Megadrive, Sega Game Gear, Sega 32X, Sega Saturn, Super Nintendo, Game Boy, PlayStation, and there was also a DOS version of this game. This version of the game is also a cornerstone for the FIFA series in general, and was a basis for the games that we play today. It was the first version of FIFA to introduce proper player names, and the chance for EA to show off their new technology, which they called Virtual Stadium. Basically put, Virtual Stadium was a new real-time 3D graphic engine which allowed for better gameplay and better graphics, and was only available on the Sega 32X, Sega Saturn, PlayStation, and DOS versions of this game. The versions of this game for the systems I just mentioned were also the first ever FIFA games to have full video entrance scenes, which I'll be able to show you later when we take a look at the Saturn version of this game. So we're starting here now then with the version for the Mega Drive. Now straight away here in the entrance scene you'll see some of the changes that EA had actually made to the FIFA game. They tweaked pretty much everything from the 95 version to the way that players looked and also played. And once again, EA did not disappoint on the music choice for this game. Just to quickly touch on the save features to this game before we get into it. EA had gone with a totally new angle. They simply done away with the slots which they used to use in FIFA 95 and now just gave you the one option, which was resuming the last tournament you participated in, which meant multiple game saves on FIFA 96 were not possible. So we start off then with the main menu here, the game setup screen. It may look pretty familiar to those of you who've checked out my FIFA 95 video and have also played this game. Even the background is literally the same with just 96 in the background rather than 95. But here's the main difference to the game. Custom league, custom tournament, custom playoff, custom player, custom teams, and more importantly, player transfers. With the addition of proper player names, and the addition of 3 further leagues in the Scottish, Swedish and Malaysian divisions. On top of the leagues that EA had already incorporated into FIFA 95, this was by far the most in-depth version for the 16-bit era. So hopefully some of you can look at these teams and look at some of the players that are on this, and who knows, it might bring back some memories of players that were in the game at about this time. So we head back to the main menu now and we'll set up a friendly. I'll just flick through the leagues here so you can get an idea of who's on the game and how good certain teams are. You can see that they're now all shown as star ratings rather than just a bar that's filled with a yellow line. This was part of a total overhaul that they had to team selection on FIFA 96. FIFA 95 had a very sort of 3D view every time you went to team setup, team coverage and formation and things like that. There was usually a 3D pitch which you can actually see on my FIFA 95 review. For FIFA 96 they actually turned it into more of a 2D view. This will become more apparent when we get into the tactics in a minute. Also you can still toggle between control types, how you wanted the game to be played. If you want more information on this, please check out my FIFA International and FIFA 95 reviews, as it's probably not the best thing to bore you guys with it all over again. And as I said earlier there, you could just see the 2D pitch as opposed to the 3D pitch which was in the FIFA 95 versions, as I spoke about earlier. So now we're looking at a 1996 Crystal Palace team here. In my view, the addition of player names in this game really made this game stand out, and it was a personal favourite of mine for this reason really. And now we finally get some gameplay on the Mega Drive version here. It's quite apparent from the outset here that EA really went to town on modifying this game from FIFA 95. Like I said at the beginning of this review, they modified the techniques of the players, how the players looked, and basically the gameplay. You can see from the texture of the pitch here and just things like the goals, it all looks completely different to the Mega Drive version of FIFA 95. But it is great to see that they didn't change one of the most important things in this game in my mind: the over-the-top celebrations by the players and of course the fans. Now on the following clips that I've pulled together here for you, you'll notice the crowd are very vocal. EA incorporated further chants from pretty much all around the world, and it really added to gameplay on top of the stuff that they already had. As we've said earlier, EA overhauled this game. They added bits of things that had done well in the 95 and international version, and basically expanded on the gameplay in general. Take a look at the following clips, and also listen to the crowd. I'm sure you'll be under the same agreements as I am that the changes in this game are very, very noticeable, and definitely make this game one of the most improved versions. Right, you're going to see another goal going in a minute for AC Milan. I promise you, I was actually really good at this game back in the day. There was actually a bug on this game, much like most of the FIFA games had back in the early versions, that if you went sort of literally down the line, so you were sort of at a right angle of the goal, if you took a shot from there, right by the corner flag, it would usually go in. But unfortunately, you can probably tell that I haven't ever really gotten near the goal, and believe it or not, these highlights that I've clipped were actually the best of the game for me. But you've got to trust me, it was a bug, and it usually worked. This pretty much concludes the gameplay for the Megadrive that I was going to do on the FIFA 96 review. Now, I have actually done the gameplay as well from the Sega Saturn version, and I do urge you to watch it, because like I said, there's video clips, there's a whole new match engine, and it's the first real look at how games look today, FIFA-wise. So I do urge you to stick with this video now and check out the Saturn version, and also check out the second part of my video after this finishes. Okay guys, I've mentioned it a few times during this review, but we're now finally going to see EA Sports' first game that they implemented Virtual Stadium into. Those of you that have played the 3DO version of FIFA International, this may look vaguely similar. I think they took a lot of the basis from the 3DO version of that game and implemented it into this entrance scene, but I'll let you draw your own conclusions if you've played on this game. Also, this intro was something EA really wanted you to see, as you were unable to skip it until the last few seconds. And I hope you understand my point I made earlier about this is really the basis of most modern day FIFA games that we now play. Now this is the first time I'd ever played the Sega Saturn version of this game, and straight away I found a problem with it. There was no creation zone or transfers for this game. Now I wouldn't normally have had a problem with this, as most FIFA games before FIFA 96 never incorporated this feature. But the fact that the Sega Mega Drive version had this, and that the Sega Saturn version didn't, would have really annoyed me back in the day. You need to remember that when the Sega Saturn came out, a lot of the Mega Drive games would have come down in price, and the Sega Saturn games would have taken their price bracket as being the most expensive games that Sega made. And if I had paid top whack for this game, I would have expected all the features from the 16-bit version of this game, and more. And also I noticed here, you'll see that there's no stats for the teams when you're selecting them. It's not until the loading screen that you actually see the stats of the team. So if you were new to football games, there was no way of knowing if a team that you were selecting was any good.
EA Sports present Virtual Stadium Soccer.
Anyway guys, I'm slowly running out of time on this part of my video. Please make sure to check out part 2 of this video, where we'll cover more of the Sega Saturn version for FIFA 96. See you soon.